Hello there. Welcome to week 9 of 10 weeks of Stirling soaps. This week we're on Stirling's Rose. Couple of notes about this. This sample was given to me by Nick Fritz on the Big Shave. Thanks, Nick. I appreciate it. This is old Stirling Rose. There is a new Stirling Rose that's been reintroduced onto Rod's website, but I do not know if it's the same rose scent as this, and it's likely not the same formulation. Now, this Nick had for a while. Rod had discontinued this rose line at the time that I ordered my samples, and I mentioned in one of my review videos that I wish that he offered a rose, and Nick PM'd me and he said, hey, I've got a rose sample that, I think he said his wife had gotten him a bunch of samples and he just wasn't into rose and he'd never opened the thing. And if I wanted it, he would be more than happy to send it to me. So I said, yeah, sure, I'd love to have it, and I really appreciate it. But this may be a different formulation. It's probably a different generation of his soap. So there's possibility that there's going to be a difference in performance, a difference in lather, and the different characteristics. There's also a possibility that he's had this long enough, and I kept it long enough that the tallow in this soap turned, and it may be in essence spoiled. I don't know. Off the puck, I'm getting a rose scent, but I'm also getting some type of spicy back note or undertone or whatever you want to call it. So we shall see. But anyway, I'll be shaving with my my 9/16 JR Torrey and my Semoque 1470 Boar brush. Let's get this shave on the road. I'm interested. I heard a lot about, there were people that you see different kinds of comments in the threads, and this is lathering quite well. You see different kind of comments in the threads for Stirling, and people say, well, I had such a hard time lathering this soap. Well, I only got into Stirling in this latest iteration, this latest generation of Stirling soaps. And to me, for Stirling, I've not had lick one a problem lathering these soaps. They've all been just wonderful. Now, this soap seems like it's lathering up normally. And when I say normally, I mean the way all of the Stirlings have lathered up for me. And matter of fact, this actually seems to be I guess a thicker proto lather is, I guess, what people would call it, than I normally get from any of the other Stirlings. That may be because this sample is older and it's had time to season more. I know that there are, I've read posts on the forums and on the Wet Shave Facebook pages, the Big Shave, and places like that, Wet Shave videos. I've seen people talk about the fact that, soaps need to harden, they need to mature, they need to, in essence, if you will, they need to season. I can tell you that I am liking the lather that is being produced in this. It has a slight, very slight tinge to it. Again, When rod soaps do that, the only thing I can really compare it to is the spike cream. I know that it has a tinge to it, at least for me it does, you know. It's not a problem. I would assume that has to do with the rose scent or with some type of whatever coloring agent or colorant that he used. But I mean, ton of lather, very easily obtained. Looks like it's going to be nice and slick, or nice and thick. I've got it on my hands and it's very, very slick. The cushion is very, very, very thick cushion to this soap. So, let me wet my face. It's a fairly mild rose scent, but I can definitely smell it. It's got a good rose scent to it that I like a lot. There's a back note. I don't know what it is, but it's like a spicy kind of note in the background of this rose scent. And I quite like that as well. It's something that I have smelled before, but I can't put a name on it right now. But the lather so far seems to be wonderful. I can tell you that, you know, it's incredibly slick on my hands. Here comes the test. Good slickness. Cushion is, I think, a little better than the others. And like I said, I think it may be because the soap had time to season. And if that's the case, you might do well to give it 2 or 3 weeks when you buy a Stirling soap, because excuse me, because it might be well worth it. The cushion on this particular soap is approaching the kind of cushion that I got from Barrister and Mann's Bay Rum, which is, in my point of view, an incredibly luxurious cushion. So there is a bit of difference. And since I don't think that rod would go backwards, and I think that this is probably a bit earlier generation of his soap, I think it's the amount of time seasoning that the soap was given that turned this into what it is. And this is the best. And please understand that when I say this, the current Stirling soaps that I've been using, they're no slouch in this category. But this is the best cushion of any of the Stirling soaps that I've tried. And there is a marked difference in the way the lather the cushion that the lather has, the way the cushion feels on this lather. I'm having a hard time explaining it, but there is a difference in this soap. And that's at least on this initial shave. I'm noticing my camera is not, I need to adjust. There, that's better. Anyway, there's an initial difference in this lather. And I don't know any other way to account for it than to say that, in my opinion, it's quite possible that it's because this particular sample had plenty of time to mellow and chill and harden and mature, as opposed to the other sample pucks which were sent to me and I immediately opened and began to use. And please understand, like I said before, that does not mean that there's anything at all wrong with the other offerings. If you've watched my reviews, you know that I have a wonderful kind of affinity for these soaps. I really consider the Stirling lineup to be just as good as anything else I've ever used, and better than an awful lot of them. Especially when you start talking some of the creams and stuff like that. So, but I mean, nice and thick. And I had zero issues lathering this. I do think, at least in this case, there's a slight less slickness to this soap, but not by any means anything big. Oh, got that lip. Ooh, hate when that happens. And this razor made sure to bite too. It wasn't a small little bite there. That one He let me have it. And it happens sometimes. You know, that's shaving, whether you're talking a straight razor or a DE or you're gonna nick yourself sometimes. That's why the good Lord gave us sense not to create things like styptic pens. And that my styptic friend and I, we've been through a lot together. So he and I are gonna interact once again. That one there stung a bit. But my buddy, and there was a post by a guy on the, I believe it was a big shave this afternoon or this morning. That the guy says, "What's the best toilet paper you use to stop bleeding because the styptic pen stings too much?" And no disrespect, or I'm not calling you out or anything like that, but it doesn't really sting all that much, dude. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. Toilet paper is a stupid idea, in my opinion. The styptic helps a lot. There are other options. I think somebody mentioned witch hazel. That is an option to consider, you know. And before I continue, the guy may have just been trying to be humorous. So, and I may have took the post wrong. But it's a pretty good rose scent. I like it a lot. Of course, I'm a fan of rose. So, but anyway, I went the toilet paper route for a long time. You know, I started back in the 70s. And all I saw was the TV. My father and my mother were divorced when I was 9. There was no one to teach me. I was handed a razor and a can of foam by my mother and told to go shave when I was like 13 or 14 because I needed to clean the whiskers off my face. And that was it. It was up to me to figure out what I was doing. So I went the TP route for a long time because I did not know and understand anything about a styptic pen. And I didn't have anybody to teach me. So I understand where you're coming from, but the styptic pen sting is very, very mild. Uh, and you know, when you use a piece of toilet paper, you get the little red circle, and that's blood. And you keep a scab, you keep a welt, you can see that. People can see that. All the wounds that I've had that I've sealed up with a styptic pen, they are basically invisible or very, very difficult for other people to see. That's a big advantage in my book. And so if you were actually serious, I would counsel you to rethink the styptic pen. Lovely. All right. Well, that's my shade with the rose. Now, with a rose scent, it's a floral scent. And I don't have anything floral to go with it. Anything rose. I have floral, but I don't have rose. I just recently, within the last week or so, bought some witch hazel. So that would be an option, but my witch hazel it's a cheap Walmart brand. And it has a scent, when I first put it on, that disappears, but it almost smells like dirty dishwater or something like that. And I'm starting to think about pouring it down the sink and throwing the bottle away, to be honest. If other witch hazels smell like that, if that's just a characteristic of the witch hazel, even if it goes away, it's like wrapping a dirty washcloth, a stinky washcloth that ought to be put in the laundry, not used another time, kind of deal. Just a stale kind of scent that I don't enjoy. So I've been using it on my neck just to see if it does anything for my skin that, my regular routine doesn't. But florally, the best thing I got is Old Spice. It has a floral, a powdery, a spicy kind of mix. And I really think that it'll work just fine for a floral scent. So that's my review, my shave review of this soap. Stirling's Rose. I think it's probably an older generation, but excellent lather. Look. I'm gonna pull a Chris Bailey here. There we go. Let's play with our lather. Nice and slick. The cushion is so well that when I do this right here, my hands are floating. There's a cushion between the palms of my hands, and they're floating on a cushion. They're not actually making solid contact with one another. There is a cushion almost like of air between my two hands, and that's this soap. It's the cushion in this soap, and it's just wonderful. Lovely. So let me get this off my hand. It's a wonderful soap. Like all the other Stirling offerings that I have tried. So yeah, that's initially my shave review. I will continue to use this through the week, and we'll give my impressions at the end of the week as normal. But I think that this is going to be one that I like, so I'm probably going to be trying a puck of the new rose just to see, and I'll probably just buy a solid puck because rose scents they're difficult to find. A lot, there are a few of them out there, but if Rod's got one, I'm probably going to get a full puck of it. So anyway, God bless you, and I'll see you on all the forums and the Facebook pages and Google Plus and all the places that you can find me. Bless you, and I will see you at the end of the week.